So hello everyone, this is Fantaduos and today I'm gonna be doing what if Deku was hated by 1A and 1B, but were sent to the Seraph at the end, part 3. So yeah, I didn't record part 3 of this what if last week because I was really busy that week, so this week is the one that I'm gonna be recording it, and then I'm gonna release part 2 of the Issei one next week. No, I already released it, part 3 of the Issei one next week. So yeah. And really, this part is not gonna be having a lot of fights, so it's just gonna be explaining, just going through going through the last part that I missed when I left the cliffhanger of this part. So let's go. It's the day after what Isuku did to one of the leaders of Group A and Group B. Isuku woke up and went to the kitchen to find both girls grappling over a flaming pan. Deku then asked, "Why are both of you cooking if you can't even cook without burning one of the pans?" They both laughed and said nothing, as Izuku just nodded and said, "Okay, I'll finish this," as Izuku then demonstrated his cooking skills by making breakfast for everyone. Then we go elsewhere, elsewhere, Yu is making an attempt to stop his hair from sticking up, and he, Kimusuki, and Yuji go to meet Shinoa and Mitsuba. Isuku, since they didn't find him sleeping or anywhere else in the place, use you suspicious that he is being left out of something breaks the ice, and Shinoa responds that there was two things to discuss. The first is that you may have been an object of a human experiment, and he lost control in the heat of battle and tried to kill everyone. And there's one more thing, Isuku, you didn't try to hurt anyone, but you did hurt a very strong vampire, which you or anyone couldn't stop. Isuku then said, "For me, it's called the end." Everyone was looking at him very confused, but then Isuku explained it's a form that mixes all the power I have, but it's hard to control. I did it at the cost of fusing with my full power, which led to my eyes turning red, as he pointed at them. Not explaining he's a half vampire and half demon, but everyone understood and went on. The second issue is Shinoa is unsure whether whether or not Guren is truly on their side. You protest that Guren has been the one looking out for them the whole time, but Shinoa suspects that possibly that he may have, in fact, been using them this whole time. Specifically you, but then Shinoa said, "But I believe he didn't know anything about Izuku until that day, where everything went according to his plan." Everyone agreed to with Shinoa, but Mitsuba believed that Guren may view them as an asset to intimidate his superiors, but also considered that something bigger than that may be at stake. Kimusuki feels the same as you. Shinoa thinks that they need to decide on whether they are to stick with Goran, weighing the possibility that he's behind them against the chance he's manipulating them. Izuku the entire time was just listening, not agreeing or agreeing with anyone. As Shinoa considered that may be considered traitors to the army if they end up following Goran, and transpire that he is using them as weapons, even if they are just following orders. But we then go to Goran. Goran himself answers Kurato's summon in an enclosed encampment on the roof of a building in Shinjuku, where three vampires were kept chained to a black scythe. Goran deems it disgusting that starving vampires are kept captives. As he turned to face Kuroto above, monitoring him. Kuroto confirms Goran's question as to whether this is a cursed gear experiment, namely to turn vampires into demons and harness these powers. Goran confirms that he came alone, unconcerned with the possibility that Kuroto could have had him killed since he is using him. Kuroto clicks his fingers, and Sniper shoots the vampire dead behind him. He processed to question Goren has managed to find not just one but three black demon prospects. He does not believe Goren claimed, but he found them by luck, and remarks that all black demons have been suspects to human experiments which have low success for rates. Goren takes his leave, but not before Kureto queries his reasoning for assembling these black demon users suspicious of culps against him. Goren dismisses his concern, and with his hand on the hilt of his sword, he points out if that were his goal, he could have accomplished it right now. Goren asks if he would want to bet that he couldn't land a single blow. Kureto states that he knows Goren's weakness, namely love, friendship, and honor. Kureto states that Goren not setting aside these emotions to lead is something that makes him stronger and holds Goren's back. It begins to rain, and overall, Kureto trusts Goren since he believes these qualifications make it unlikely he would betray him. Goren suspects another insight where Kureto has taken hostage and asks what he wants. Kureto wonders, no, Kureto wonders what's the point of living in a world like this, fighting extinction with the world devoid of hope. He notes Goren continues to build his military power. He wants to know his intention. Goruto himself has a grand goal of recovering the world, even with the vampires having destroyed their communication network, cutting off the contact with everyone outside of Japan. Goruto's next step is to accomplish contact rather it is to destroy every last vampire in the country. Not only that, he will also crush other organizations to put the world under the Moon Demon Army's control. The first step in his grand vision is to thin the vampire's ranks by exterminating the vampire nobles, of which there are currently 25 in Japan. Kurt is aware of their location. His son has been forced to act now since he is also aware that in a month the vampire will launch a full-scale attack on Tokyo. He wants Goren to take his team and 100 members of the Moon Demon Company to Naguyo, where 10 vampire nobles are located. Despite the declaration of trust, Goren knows that there is more to plan that Kureto is not sharing. He receives a distractive in his order to carry out the mission. Kureto wants a world where the vampires serve as humans' livestock and turn the balance of power in the humans' favor. So that's what I was gonna explaining from last part that I missed to explain. That was the last bit, so I'll continue from this part. Just give me a minute. Oh yeah. So after every so after Goran was giving the orders, he then got spoken by his cursed demon tool, trying to get distracted by it as Goran then told it to leave him alone. As we then continue to the orders, Kimusaki is driving Shinoa's squad to the ruined cityscape on the main road to their mission destination. That as you note that it has begun to get colder, and Isuku then says, "Wow, the guy that almost killed everyone is cold. How hilarious!" Everyone in the car starts laughing, but people were still wondering why Isuku was just sitting on the freaking roof of the car. But then Shinoa jokes about going to Hanukkah to enjoy hot springs. But Mitsuba says the true destination is in about rest stop to prepare multiple ambush on vampire nobles in Nagoya. Isuku was just sleeping on the trunk of the car, and Yu wonders out loud to himself whether Mika will be there. The car suddenly jerks as they themselves are intercepted by the sudden appearance of a four horsemen of June of Dawn. They serve to suddenly appear. They serve to avoid it, but multiple one of variants type appear. Isuku then just says, okay, kill them then. As his sword then suddenly manifests as a monster and it kills all of the four horsemen of John. Mitsuba and everyone else were confused as she was about to summon her curse gear battle axe in an attempt to fend them off, but Isuku stops her. Yuji, but then they continue. But then they continue to go as everyone was still wondering why Isuku was so strong. But after all that, they just kept quiet and never asked. After the ambush has been repelled and further engagement have been avoided, under the protest of dodging an enemy, Shinoa gets Kisui to serve to the right so that Yu lands in the middle of the road rather than the vehicle, as this happened right after Isuku kills the horseman. But then Isuku says, "Oh, we're gonna be in trouble." Then Kimisuki does what Shinoa says, and then we go to Goren's point of view. Goren has finished scouting. The rest stop with Shuguri and Suri behind him. Goji emerges, having discovered a magazine with bikinis models within. He seems disappointed that the ladies in the teams don't wear bikinis, though Suri was blushing, says she will if Colony Goren wants her. Goji tells Goren that Mitu is serving the area for vampires, and she arrives from confrontation that there are none present, ignoring the bikini-related talk. Goren moves to address the Moon Demon Company members gathered before him. He then notices the arrival of the red spotted car that Shiuya has commanded and is using. Shiuya is present after hearing that they're assembling men to be sacrificed pawns with 100 men, pitting against vampire nobles. Though they went back to regain him, leaving Yu behind as a joke, has meant that Shinoa's squad were late for the meeting, of which Kimusuki says he will say Shinoa and Mitsuba faithful. They also arrive, issuing the message they are all deported to and arriving in Nagoya by 1,300. The army has been issued to direct strategizing detail concerning the mission. He then pauses mid-converse explanation after he spots Shinoa trying to sneak in without him noticing them. Shinoa attempts to laugh it off, but after laugh it off and reject by stern Gorns telling her to leave if she couldn't follow the army's order, and precisely the strategizing at hand. But one of the people present who did not appreciate the young member stepping forward was Isuku, accepting. As Isuku took Yu's place and told him that it was my fault, I'm the one to blame for being late, using the semi-truth that he took upon himself to fight the four horsemen of June. Goren orders him to line up, a punishment will be given later. But instead of Goren doing the thing that he did to Yu, he attacked Isuku, but Isuku then caught Goren's blade with a finger and said, "Don't try that on me," and just flicked him off, sending him flying. Uh, Isuku then said, "Really? And this is our captain." But then at a point, Major General Shinoa, her scythe Mitsuba and Demon War Axe hold of Colonel Juhu in close combat with Lieutenant Colonel Goren, and this is the part where Isuku just flicks him off through a building. So so then we continue to immediately the joint attack. Goren sends four on the red root's energy that blows a hole through the sides of this is another part, sorry. So then we continue to the outbreak. So then we continue. Everyone saves scouting the black demon holder Parave. Goren. But then we continue to the part where Goren is encouraging to you, rubbing his side and saying he can become stronger with teamwork. So Nehemiah rejects to speak and share that he's against bringing them to the basically Nurumi requested to speak and shares that he is against bringing them to the battlefield since they cannot follow rules and don't have teamwork. Goran says he has a point. Then he says that Nurumi squad can take care of them as Shurgia to rearrange the squad to pair Shinoa squad with Nurumi squad, who were also formally introduced to them. Shinoa says sorry to the team, feeling that they lost as a result of their incompetence. In a ruined neighborhood, Mika comes across running from a vampire. Lucas feeds from a girl and Mika longing complains the blood. The captured children are loaded in helicopters as a tribute for the noble vampires in Nuguya. Mika tells Lucas that he is not interested in human blood, instead substituting himself in the videos of Cruel's blood. However, he does not recall what he said about her blood not being able to substantiate him forever. The craving taking an increasingly extreme toll on him, inclining when Mika's lungs and pins a girl to the ground preparing to drink her blood. He manages to contain the urge when Lucas comments and they depart via the air, the aircraft. And this is where I'm going to be leaving it off. Thank you guys for watching. This is Phantom Duos here, and goodbye.